Digital video extension versus resolution. What does the video consist of? I will tell you about technical details. The good thing about Premiere is that it does whatever you decide. Compared to Final Cut X, it doesn't have its own hardwired opinion that can't be changed. Premiere doesn't solve some of the problems for you. The result depends only on your skills and abilities. First, container is an extension as MOV, MP4, MXF, etc. We can put our videos in it. Each container has certain features. For example, you can write any formats, which is good, any existing codecs of any resolution, frame rate, etc. In the MOV container, you can only record the H.264 codec in the MP4 container. MXF also has its own codecs and settings. Second, resolution is the number of pixels horizontally and vertically. For example, you can find the video in Project, click right mouse button and then Properties in order to see the video resolution. Then we will see its image size. There are such formats as HD, 1280 to 720, SD, 720 to 576, Full HD, 1920 to 1080, etc. For understanding the video extension in 2K, we have 2K pixels on the long side, 4K pixels on the long side, etc. Third, frame per second is FPS. A person by its nature sees a continuous action, more and more often 12 FPS. The first movie that was shot on film was 16 FPS. Then sound appeared in the cinema. Recording a sound wave on film required a certain length, and 1 second took up as much space as 24 FPS. That's why there is the frequency of 24 FPS. This is not because a person saw 24 FPS as end-to-end action, but because the sound was recorded for exactly this number of frames at that moment. Then all the movie cameras were transferred to 24 FPS. So now we perceive silent films as accelerated video. Although we are just used to the fact that silent sound was shot accelerated. In fact, it was filmed and shown in real time. Just because of the difference in movie cameras, these accelerated images appeared, which then everyone got used to, and it remained so. The frame rate that appeared in the Great Britain is 25 FPS, because it was attached to televisions and to the broadcast frequency. So, the TV was connected to the electricity in the socket, and the electricity in the socket was an alternating current of 50 Hz. That's why there is the frame rate of 25 FPS. A frequency of 30 FPS and also 29.97 appeared in place where the outlet was 60 Hz in USA, Japan and other large parts of the world. Since the sound appeared, there was a frequency of 24 FPS in the movies, as before. Now there are all new movie formats, screens that support an increasing frame rate as 60 FPS, etc. Now there is such a thing as variable FPS on phones. It's the frame rate that changes depending on the saturation of the action in the frame. For example, if the action is active, it takes 30 FPS, and if the action is not dynamic, it takes 12 FPS, always removed in one file, in one container. Also, there are shooting frame rates, such as rapids, from the French rapid, that means fast, from 32 FPS to 2000 FPS. So later there is a possibility to slow down them on the editing. Fourth, interlaced scanning. It appeared with the advent of television because the TV, as already mentioned, was attached to the electricity in the socket. It was easier for it to take a picture not in the form of 25 full frames, but in the form of 50 half frames. So the picture was divided into two parts along the lines. Now all the latest cameras and phones shoot a progressive picture, and TV cameras were shot with filters. A video with a full frame is called progressive, P, and a video with filters is called interlaced, I. Fifth, the pixels of a video file are not always square. They can often be oblong to compress videos for broadcast and other purposes. The pixel size is 1.0, and the format is often 1.33, anamorphic to HD. On red, if you also shoot on an anamorphic image, an aspect ratio of 2.0 is used to compress this image. DVPAL uses a pixel of 1.06. The aspect ratio of NTSC, the old TV format, is 0.91. Finally, there are different options that you need to take into account when editing and know about their existence. 6. The codec, compressor-decompressor, is the algorithm by which the video is compressed or decompressed. We should know about the first codec, that is H264. That is the basis of all video production. All cameras write on it. It's very flexible and customizable. You can choose the bitrate with it. The H264 codec can write any aspect ratio and pixels, anything. Not all codecs can use any formats, so it's used in cameras, on YouTube, on phones. The settings that you have on your phone and on a professional camera are different, but the codec, the algorithm itself, is the same. If you work on a Mac, you need to know about a codec like Apple ProRes. This codec was created a long time ago, but it still exists today. Codecs can be divided by CPU load. The H264 codec provides strong video compression, and therefore it causes a heavy load on the processor when you work with this video. The Apple ProRes codec provides a low CPU load, so you can easily create proxies from it. In particular, it can create videos with the lowest compression. I mean, every time you run a video via the H264 codec, you lose quality. For example, if you record it 10 times, even with the highest settings, you will see the difference. The ProRes codec provides the least loss of quality when encoding, so it's convenient to store proxies and videos without compression and transmit the video further for color correction. But this codec has a big disadvantage. It's forbidden to use it on other devices. On the PC, Premiere reads ProRes, but doesn't run it. Theoretically, you can run ProRes from After Effects, but only by purchasing a certain plugin. Plus, you can also run ProRes for some composing programs, for example Nuke and Fusion. Therefore, Adobe bought a similar solution from GoPro Cineform in order to solve this problem. It's practically an analog of ProRes, but it works on all platforms, provides the same compression ratio with the least loss of quality as Apple ProRes. In addition, these two codecs allow you to store video with a higher bitrate, because the H264 codec uses 8-bit videos in any case. The Apple ProRes and GoPro Cineform color gradation can be recorded 10, 12, 16-bit video and use the alpha channel. It can be embedded in the video with these codecs, while H264 doesn't have this feature. There is also an old version that allows you to do the same thing as ProRes and the GoPro. It's animation codec, but the file will be several times larger. 7th, bitness is a gradation of color. Each color is written as several variables. For example, you have 3 coordinates that describe a color. A color with bitrate of 8 bits has 2 to 8 degrees, 256 variants of the same color. In total, the number of colors will be 256 to the 3rd power. In principle, there is more than enough for most situations. All household cameras and phones shoot 8-bit videos because the human eye can't feel the difference. The difference begins when the material is submitted for color correction. For example, there is bitrate of 256 to the 3rd power. It's 16 million colors. When we need more color space for complex color correction, we need more color gradation as 10 bits or more, in order to color artifacts don't appear on smooth color gradations. If you take an 8-bit video, then you, for example, on the layering of blue color or on the skin tones, the color difference will start to come out. So, if you take a 10-bit video, the color will change smoothly, without color gaps. 10-bit video is 1024 in third power. It's 1 billion of colors. 8th, color subsampling is one of the ways to compress a digital signal that consists in special processing of color information. This is a brief summary of what the video consists of in order to be able to read the settings.